What if I told you that the high seas are still plagued by pirates, armed, ruthless, and operating like modern militias, and they're going head-to-head with elite private security forces trained like special ops? What to expect? In today's video, we're diving into the dangerous cat-and-mouse game between modern-day Somali pirates and the private maritime security forces hired to stop them. We'll expose the tactics, weapons, motivations, and even the unexpected economics behind both sides. Who are these pirates? Are they desperate fishermen or organized crime networks? And who are the men on the other side? Former Navy SEALs or just well-paid mercenaries? Stick around, because the twists and the real-life footage from actual pirate raids might just blow your mind. You'll never look at shipping lanes the same way again. Where modern piracy lives. Modern piracy hasn't vanished, it's just evolved. Nowhere is this more dangerous than off the coast of Somalia, in the Gulf of Aden and the Indian Ocean. This strategic zone is one of the busiest maritime passages in the world, and it's also one of the most perilous. The collapse of Somalia's government in the early 1990s created a power vacuum. As international fishing fleets began exploiting Somali waters, local fishermen turned to piracy, initially to defend their coastline. But what started as coastal protection soon escalated into a multi-million-dollar criminal industry. Armed with AK-47s, RPGs, and GPS, Somali pirates use small skiffs launched from motherships to intercept massive cargo vessels, oil tankers, and even luxury yachts. They aren't just reckless attackers, they study shipping routes, radio frequencies, and crew routines. But here's the twist. Pirates aren't just ragtag gangs anymore. Many are backed by financiers, tribal leaders, or criminal networks. In some cases, even warlords demand a share of the ransom money. Who are the private security forces? Private maritime security companies, PMSCs, are the modern knights of the sea. When nations couldn't guarantee protection, the shipping industry turned to private firms. These ex-military operatives, former special forces, and trained professionals offer elite services that range from armed escorts to onboard guards. The most elite among them come from the British SAS, U.S. Navy, SEALs, and French Foreign Legion veterans. They're equipped with precision rifles, night vision goggles, encrypted radios, and military-grade surveillance equipment. But their main goal? Deterrence. These professionals often use tactics like visible presence on deck, warning flares and loudspeakers, high-pressure water cannons, live rounds, if all else fails. In fact, most pirate attacks are thwarted without a single bullet being fired, because pirates often abort the mission the moment they realize armed guards are on board. But here's what you probably didn't know. These security forces operate in legal gray areas. Different countries have different laws about firearms at sea, and ports often prohibit vessels carrying weapons. So, while these operators are highly trained, they must constantly navigate legal, political, and logistical minefields. Tactics of the pirates. You might think pirates just charge and guns blazing, but modern Somali piracy is shockingly strategic. First, pirates use motherships, repurposed fishing boats, or hijacked vessels that act as floating bases. These can launch multiple skiffs hundreds of miles from the Somali coast, catching vessels far from international naval patrols. Next, they track shipping lanes using cheap satellite phones and radios. Once a vulnerable ship is spotted, usually one that's slow and lightly crewed, they move in. Pirate raids follow a precise script. 1. Approach at high speed with 1 to 2 skiffs. 2. Fire warning shots to intimidate. 3. Hook grappling ladders onto the hull. Fourth board in less than 90 seconds. Once aboard, they aim to capture, not kill. Crew members become hostages, and the ship is held for ransom. Some hostages have been held for over 2 years while negotiations dragged on. But what's truly shocking? They operate in teams with designated roles: navigator, mechanic, negotiator, enforcer. This is no amateur gig. It's organized, calculated, and backed by local infrastructure once they return to shore. And sometimes pirates wear body armor and GoPros, recording raids for training, or worse, intimidation. How private security strikes back. So how do the private security forces fight back? Step 1. Anticipation. Before leaving port, teams conduct vulnerability assessments, checking ship speed, height, crew size, and potential pirate routes. They set up lookout posts and surveillance systems to detect any approaching vessels. If a pirate skiff is spotted, the guards launch into defensive action. Ship lockdown, all access points sealed. Crew moves to a citadel, a fortified room with food, water, and communication. Guards take position, often on elevated points with full line of sight. Warning flares, loud verbal commands, and warning shots are standard. But if pirates continue their approach, lethal force is authorized. In some rare cases, private guards have engaged in full-blown firefights using .50 caliber rifles to disable pirate engines or neutralize attackers. These confrontations are fast, violent, and decisive. But here's the twist. Private security must collect evidence of proportional response. That means video documentation, written logs, and GPS tagging. If they kill a pirate unnecessarily, they could face international prosecution. In one famous case, a security team repelled a pirate boarding, only to be detained for months because they violated the host nation's firearm laws. So while these guards are effective, they walk a razor-thin line between protection and prosecution. The surprising economics behind it. All you may be wondering, why are Somali pirates still a thing? The answer is simple: money. A single successful hijacking can net pirates anywhere from $1 million to $10 million. That's more than the average Somali fisherman could make in 200 lifetimes. These ransoms fuel entire local economies. Towns like Isle and Harrod here have seen economic booms from piracy money, restaurants, hotels, even car dealerships. But it goes deeper. Negotiators are often hired from London, Dubai, or Nairobi. Ransom drops are arranged via parachute, with third-party intermediaries handling the cash. Everyone takes a cut: the pirates, their investors, the tribal elders. On the other side, shipping companies pay big bucks for private security, sometimes up to $50,000 per voyage. But that's far cheaper than a $5 million ransom or a ship lost entirely. It's a global business, and it's incredibly profitable. So here's the twist. As long as this system remains lucrative on both ends, the war on the water will never fully end. Modern-day piracy isn't dead. It's just better dressed, better funded, and much more calculated. Somali pirates are no longer lone desperados. They're backed by networks and economic desperation. And in response, private security forces have become the new frontline soldiers of global trade, operating in the shadows between international law and life-or-death combat. But here's the real question. As both sides continue to evolve, who will win this deadly chess match at sea? Or are we doomed to an endless loop of escalation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Would you trust your life to a team of private guards? Or does this make you question how vulnerable global trade truly is? And if you enjoyed this deep dive into maritime warfare, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We've got more intense, real-world conflict stories coming your way. Until next time, stay sharp, stay curious, and stay safe.